and welcome to Akancha Against Harassment, your Cyber Safety 101 podcast. Today I'm going to talk about the most common complaint I get from my friends, from everybody on internet, cyberbullying. So we spoke about bullying some time ago, right? What really is bullying? Bullying is using your position of power or strength or domination to harass somebody. What did we do in school? Some taller guy would push someone who's shorter, calling somebody fat. That's a form of bullying, isn't it? Cyberbullying is as simple as use of internet and technology to do exactly the same. Let's define some forms. What are the different forms in which it manifests itself online? One of the first few forms of cyberbullying you should know is called flaming. Flaming from inflammatory. What is flaming? Flaming is when you use electronic messages with angry and vulgar language, right? Let's move on to the next one, which is called denigration. Denigration is when you diss someone, right? When you harass someone and when you say nasty things about them. How do you do that? When you send or post some gossip or rumor about them. You want to ruin their friendships, you want to ruin their relationships, you want them to have a bad reputation in their professional network. So you diss them. That's called denigration. Impersonation. This is getting more and more common. That is when you pretend to be somebody else online. One of the recent cases which came to me is when one girl hacked into another girl's account and posted some really nasty messages to her boyfriend. That's impersonation. And as easy and as silly as it might sound to the audience right now, trust me, it can be really harrowing and can really take a toll on your mind frame. The next one is called outing. Outing is when you share someone's secrets or embarrassing information or images online. And this can have a really negative impact, especially on children and young teenagers. Like posting an obscene picture or, posting someone's picture who's fat and, posting their not so flattering images. That's not right. And that's called outing. There's also trickery. Trickery is when you force, coerce, or sweet talk someone into giving some or sharing some important or intimate detail about them, and then you broadcast it online. All of these are very, very common today, and thanks to all the social media apps, it's getting more and more easy. Now let me tell you what are the usual side effects of this kind of cyberbullying. And believe it or not, in very severe cases, it even leads to depression or contemplation of suicide or people even ending their lives, especially in young adolescents. What else does it do? Even to people like us, people who are grown up and we are professionals, it undermines our confidence. The entire objective of cyberbullying someone is to compromise their self-confidence. It causes a lot of stress and other effects on our mind. It starts affecting our performance, children in school and us at our work. We start having a lot of negative thoughts about stepping out. We don't want to interact with people as freely as we did. In India, only 14% of urban women really go to work. And over 70% of those 14% women have said they have experienced severe online harassment. And when that happens, they never want to go back online. Just think about what kind of impact it has on business and GDP of our country. So while all of this is happening, what are the few things you can do to prevent, or what are a few things you can do as remedial if you ever experience it? So one thing I always tell anyone who comes to me for advice is you got to choose your battles, really. You can't be fighting every troll or every anonymous account. So the first thing you need to do is just try and block or just avoid that person. You don't want to do anything where you're engaging in a continuous conversation. You also need to tell someone about it, whoever you trust. It could be family, friend, or the police if you're seriously aggrieved. And I'll tell you why. Because if there is a serious threat or if you're being seriously harassed, you could even look at filing a case of defamation. When someone's publishing a false statement about you to damage your reputation, there could be an invasion of privacy or a public disclosure of a private fact. You may have told someone something really sensitive, but you may have told them in extreme confidence. It wasn't meant to be broadcasted, right? There could be an intentional infliction of emotional distress where they want you to go through a harrowing experience, and all these are punishable. So if you're seriously aggrieved, then you need to approach the police and see if the grievance falls in any of these buckets. And most importantly, in today's day and age, and because of the political and religious atmosphere we are going through, there are tons of other crimes they might be committing even without knowing it. For example, it may be a hate or bias crime. There could be, religious, inflammatory posts which somebody is posting. And these are all punishable offenses. Nobody can make harassing telephone calls, repeated actions, repeated messages, sending you repeated emails, which you have very clearly said you are not happy receiving. But above all of this, one thing which can help you avoid any of these consequences is just introspect. If you are doing something to put somebody in an unhappy situation, if you don't want to get bullied, you have to make sure you aren't one of them. Thank you.